Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Nathan shouted impatiently, "Sammy, what's going on? Do you really take this girl as your boss? Leon, call your manager out to fix this girl." The dealer snapped back to his senses and glanced at Nicole suspiciously. Because of the pressure from Nathan and his uncertainty about Nicole's identity, he listened to Nathan and called his manager. Sammy saw things had come to such a pass and blurted, "Boss, what now? Why did you prevent the dealer from rolling the dice? The club will not let you go. Go now. I'll buy you time." While speaking, he got up and could not care less about his bet with Nathan. Nicole just pulled back her hand, which she used to press on the cup. "It's okay. Let him call the manager." Seeing her arrogance, Nathan thought she did not know the rules here and taunted her. "So you're Sammy's new boss? I heard your name is Nicole, tight? It is said that you are from the village. It seems that it's true. You don't know the rules at all yet dare to come here. Now, don't say that I didn't warn you. The most taboo thing on the gambling table is to interfere with the dealer's work. I'm afraid you're going to lose your right hand when the manager comes." Nicole did not even look at him, her eyes revealing nothing. Jared had a playful smile on his face when he saw Nicole meddling in the game. Instead of blaming Nicole, he walked over to Claus and saw the club manager hurry over. The manager did not see him. Desperately trying to curry favor with Nathan, he headed over to table 63, where the accident had occurred, followed by two intimidating bodyguards. On the way, the manager confirmed the incident with the dealer. By the time he reached table 63, he had started scolding before he even saw who was there. "Who is so daring as to stop the dealer from rolling the dice and breaking the rules of our club? Come with us now." Hearing what the manager said, Nicole looked back slowly and cocked an eyebrow at Jared, who was standing not far away. "But he told me that your club has no rules." The manager broke out in a cold sweat when he saw her face. As he looked back, he also saw Jared standing behind him with his arms folded, looking at him with a smirk. Behind Jared was a black-faced Claus. "Isn't these the two distinguished guests the boss has just received? If so, I wouldn't even have a problem with them dancing on the table, let alone stopping the dealer from rolling the dice." The manager thought to himself, "Lady, I'm really sorry. It could just be a misunderstanding. You go on and have fun." He did not know her name but only knew that she had come with Jared. Thinking of what he had just said, he almost wanted to cut off his tongue. Nicole looked at the manager, and instead of arguing with him, she told the dealer to roll the dice again. Meanwhile, Nathan was dumbfounded, watching what was happening. "Billy, what's going on? She has broken the rules of your club. Shouldn't you break her hand?" Why did he apologize to her instead? Billy glared at Nathan. It was Nathan who dragged him into this. Now that he had offended Jared, he would probably lose his job. Billy and Nathan were quite close. Together with the dealer, Billy often used chicanery to help Nathan. Both Billy and Leon would gain a lot of benefits from it, so they were familiar with how things worked. Just that they did not expect to run into trouble this time. Both Nathan and Leon looked at Billy in disbelief. Billy gave them a look, feeling that he had done his best for them, so he walked toward Jared without hesitation. "Mr. Johnston, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that your friend was playing at table 63 with Nathan. Otherwise, I would never have been so nosy. Please give me another chance." With that, Billy clenched his hands and looked nervously at Jared. Jared said nothing but walked toward Nicole. It was Claus who looked at Billy and said, "Since you know you are too nosy, you might as well prepare to be fired." Billy was rooted to the spot. With Jared's judgment skills, he could easily tell that Billy was colluding with Nathan. So Billy knew his career was on the line. Jared was still a distance away from them, so Nathan and Leon could not see what Billy had done. Humiliated by Billy, Nathan looked back at Nicole viciously. "Don't be triumphant yet. You've made a serious mistake in the club, and I can easily fix you." He had already heard that Nicole had no background at all, so he had no idea how Billy could cause things to end up this way. Nicole did not give any response. She just shot a cold glance at the stack of tokens in front of Nathan and then looked back at Sammy, who had been struck dumb. "This is just a game. How can you bet on the game?" Sammy looked helpless. "He keeps harassing my sister. I have no other option. Knowing that he liked to play games, I bet with him." Knowing that he did this not out of bad intentions, Nicole felt a little sorry for him. Vivian might be annoying, but she was Sammy's sister, after all. So Nicole thought people like Nathan really deserved to be taught a lesson. "How much did you lose?" Nicole asked in a whisper. They all looked at Nicole. Upon hearing her question, Sammy came to his senses and said, "You mean the tokens? 50 million. He was talking about the value of assets in Monopoly, which was almost all of it. He looked at Nicole's face and continued. "I often play Monopoly, but this time things have gotten really strange. All 5 rolls of the dice took me to the worst position, and the good lands have all been bought up by Nathan. Now it is difficult to make a comeback." Nicole looked at Nathan upon hearing that. This guy has obviously used some dirty tricks. No way Sammy could win. Putting bets on the game to scam a student is despicable. Her eyes looked frosty, but a cold smile was slowly creeping across her face. "Nathan, do you dare to play with me?" Nathan laughed triumphantly when he heard she wanted to challenge him. "She is really stupid. Even a veteran like Sammy couldn't beat me at the game. She is just a yokel, who probably has never seen a board game, yet she wants to challenge me." He forgot for a moment that Nicole had just prevented the dealer from rolling the dice. Instead, he looked at Nicole with a sneer and said, "Okay, but what if you lose? Since you're so hot," he looked up and down at Nicole with lustful eyes, "why don't you be my woman? Her character and background are so-so, but she has got a really hot body." Seeing Nathan leer at Nicole, Sammy and others knew his dirty thoughts. Sammy rushed to stand in front of Nicole, blocking Nathan's view of her, and said angrily, "Please respect her and yourself, Nathan." Nathan sneered upon seeing Sammy get so furious. He was curious why these boys were so protective of Nicole. The Holmes family did not want to offend these families at once, so he said lackadaisically, "I am not short of money but a woman. Think about the consequences if you want to play with me." After saying that, he leaned back in his chair and continued to sweep his lecherous eyes at Nicole. Jared's face had darkened so much that even Max and Claus could clearly sense his murderous vibe. "It's just a game, but you want to bet. Don't you know that this is illegal?" Nicole said coldly. Nathan laughed wickedly upon hearing her question. "It's just a private bet, a deal outside the club. No one can meddle with it. Get out of here if you don't dare to bet with me." Nicole's eyes darkened abruptly as she had lost patience with Nathan. At this moment, a waitstaff of the club suddenly pushed a cart covered with a red cloth over and said respectfully to Nicole, "Miss Riddle, these are the tokens for you." Everyone was stunned. Nicole quietly looked at Jared as he approached slowly. She knew it was him who got her those tokens and did not refuse. "How much is this?" she asked in a whisper. The waiter still bowed his head and said respectfully, "Monopoly's starting token is 50 million game coins. Here are exactly 100 million game coins." Nathan's eyes widened, and he pointed at the waitstaff and shouted, "This is not fair. Monopoly's starting token has always been 50 million. Is the club crazy by giving her 100 million? The waitstaff looked at Nathan with a not too happy look in his eyes. "This lady is a distinguished guest of our club, and the starting capital of each game of Super VIP members is twice that of ordinary members. Have you forgotten?" Then he took all the tokens and piled them up in front of Nicole. Nathan was completely dumbfounded at this point. Just her? How could she be a Super VIP? The Bond family's private club operated an all-membership system. An ordinary membership card costs millions a year, a bronze gold membership tens of millions, and a Super VIP membership hundreds of millions. He had not seen a Super VIP. Now they were telling him that Nicole was a Super VIP member. He wondered who she really was. Sammy and others looked at Nicole in shock, as if he had not expected things to turn out this way. They all were from wealthy families, but they had never seen people fork out 100 million to subscribe to Super VIP membership. Sammy shook his head, realizing that none of this was an illusion. He said to Nicole, "Boss, who the hell are you really?" Nathan had obviously thought of this, too. He looked at Nicole, the lustful look in his eyes so obvious. "She is rich and beautiful. This is the girl I want." Nathan let out a dirty smile with the dirty thought in mind. "I didn't expect you to be so rich. I really underestimated you." Nicole was keeping a straight face and gently fiddled with one of the tokens that piled up in front of her. "Cut the crap. Let's get started." She did not have that much time to waste on minions like him. So what if she has double the number of tokens? She is just a yokel who has never seen the world. No way she is going to beat me, no matter what game itis. Nathan stopped talking. He looked at Nicole with contempt, not believing that she would win. But after the dealer learned of Nicole's super VIP membership, he sweated profusely, frantically winking at Nathan, signaling him not to agree to a duel with such a VIP, as he would lose 8 out of 10. Overwhelmed with lustful desire for Nicole, Nathan had lost his senses. He gritted his teeth and said, "Let's get started." The game had started, and everyone else stepped aside. Jared could see the expression in Nicole's eyes clearly. She looked as if she was familiar with the rules and strategizing now. Claus stood by and watched, his jaw dropping to the ground as Nicole had just started reading the rules. She is indeed playing this kind of board game for the first time. I've just disagreed with Jared getting so many tokens for Nicole. She has never played Monopoly before. She's going to lose. He looked at Nicole and had no words. Then he muttered, "It's over, Mr. Johnston. You just spent 100 million on a super VIP membership. I'm afraid it's going down the drain." He looked at Jared disapprovingly, thinking that Jared had been too generous in parting with his money. But Jared ignored him. He walked up to Nicole, leaned down slightly, and asked in her ear with great affection, "Are you sure you can win?" He sounded nonchalant, as if he was not worried at all. Nicole glanced at him. "Don't worry. I will not lose." Their eyes met in the air. One was playful, and the other was cold, yet there seemed to be some sparks of affection in the air. Sammy started to admire Jared when he saw Jared was so close to Nicole, and Nicole, who had a cold personality, did not resist. Nathan saw this and sneered. "No wonder you can come up with so many tokens. Apparently, you have a sugar daddy to back you up." The Holmes family was only a third-tier family in San Joto, and he had no idea who Jared was, which was why he dared to be so arrogant. Claus heard Jared being called a sugar daddy for the first time, and he tried hard not to laugh. But Jared was unperturbed, looking thoughtfully at Nicole's nonchalant face, and then gave Nathan a glimpse but said nothing. Jared's glance made Nathan's hair stand on end, and Nathan secretly told himself not to be afraid of a sugar daddy like him. He motioned to the dealer and said, "What are you waiting for? Come over and roll the dice now." Leon looked at Nicole, then at Jared again, gritted his teeth, and stepped out. But facing Nathan and Nicole, his hands touching the cold dice, shivered. He sensed Nicole's gaze and flinched back in fear, as if feeling he was being watched. Following the rules, he shook the dice in front of the two and then stood opposite them and barely calmed down. "Please start your initial amount of money in the bank." Nicole looked at her tokens and pushed out half of them with no hesitation. "I will start with the same amount of money as his." She was confident of winning and did not need that many tokens at all. Sammy looked at Nicole and wanted to warn her not to take the opponent too lightly. But then he saw Nicole's calm face and thought better of it. He guessed Nicole was probably confident of winning, and he should not worry about her. The initial bet of 50 million made Nathan look at her in surprise. He did not expect that she still had backbone and did not use her super VIP privilege. But that might work to his advantage, as he might probably win even faster. So he followed suit. The dealer walked over to the two and opened Nathan's dice first. 5 steps for your piece." Nathan's eyes widened with delight, clearly even luck on his side. The square that he was going to land was a key land. He could buy it to collect rent as long as Nicole landed on it. The dealer walked over to Nicole again and opened her dice. It was a 3, which was just too small. Nathan's eyes lit up, and he gawked at the tokens in front of Nicole with a greedy look in his eyes. He held his head high, looking provocatively at Nicole, whose expression remained changed. Luck is not on your side at the start of the game. The first golden property is mine. Why don't you concede defeat now? I will be gentle to you. He looked at Nicole with a lewd look on his face as if he were about to swallow her. You've only occupied one favorable property and are so quick to claim triumph? It would be a slap in the face if you lose, Nicole said with a hiss. No way I will lose. As expected, Nathan had a displeased look on his face upon hearing what Nicole said. I wasn't born yesterday. I will not lose to a novice like you. That's what you said, Nicole suddenly said, but you still just owed me a bet. I will be your woman if I lose. How about you if you lose? She really dares to imagine that she will win. Judging by the situation now, Nathan felt she could not possibly win. If I lose, I'll leave San Joto and never appear in front of you again. Oh, really? This is what you said, okay? Nicole smiled, knowing that Nathan had taken the bait. He did not know that she had given him a handicap. Yeah, I said that. Mark my words. Nathan laughed, thinking that this was impossible to happen. He was convinced that Nicole would lose and become his woman, and he could hardly suppress the elated look on his face. Nicole looked at him and smirked, her expression indifferent. You'd better keep your words. Sammy and the others saw clearly from the sidelines that Nicole's dice number was small, and things were not looking up for her during her next turn. Sammy saw she was raising her hand to pick up the piece, and he tried to stop her. Calm down, boss. Claus was so anxious that he could not bear to look at it. Meanwhile, Jared was looking at Nicole thoughtfully. Nicole seemed to hesitate for a second upon hearing what Sammy said. Nathan's heart skipped a beat, and he saw Nicole glance at him with a smirk and then say to Sammy, Are you the boss, or I'm the boss? After saying that, she moved her piece to the square before Sammy could stop her. He felt miserable at seeing that Nicole was going to be at a disadvantage. But he knew he could not blame her, she just wanted to help him. Besides, he thought she was still a little girl, and it was normal that she had not played Monopoly before. It's all Nathan's fault. Sammy and others looked at Nathan with hatred in their eyes. Nathan did not care what they thought. He looked at Nicole's move and smiled like a Cheshire cat. What a fool she is, he thought. Claus was stupefied, even though he had known Nicole better during this time. Nicole was still young, but she had shown that she knew what she was doing all this while. So he did not expect that she would be so naive and rose to the bait when provoked. She is too reckless without thinking about the consequences. She is hopelessly stupid. He could not bear to look at her further. Claus felt even more depressed when he saw Jared was not bothered at all. Please, boss. Nicole is taking your money and trying to be a hero. Jared smiled upon seeing Nicole's confident look. This girl is superb at acting. Claus had no words when he saw the smile on Jared's face. He could not help but turn to Max. He had to find someone to talk to, or he would be likely to get depression. But Max looked like he also believed in Nicole and did not bother with Claus. Nicole had made her move, landing on a square and looking at the stunned dealer. Can I buy this property? Leon looked at Nicole's face and was stupefied. Okay, you may buy it, but it has no investment value. Nathan burst into laughter, wondering if Nicole was dumb, that she was probably too scared to land on his property and pay the rent that she was willing to buy worthless property. Nicole bought it anyway. It was Nathan's turn to roll the dice. He secretly prayed in his mind. When the dice turned out to be a 5, he broke into a smile. The dealer was obviously still helping him to land on a good piece of property. He bought it with no hesitation and added it to his portfolio. As long as Nicole landed on his property, she would have to pay him rent. But Nicole looked nonchalant. She rolled the dice, and the result stunned everyone. They all could not believe that the dice would be a 6 with just a casual shake of her hand. Luck is on her side this time. But how come she got a 3 in the last round? Nathan looked at dice with a 6 and was exasperated. His face collapsed suddenly as he looked at the dealer as if asking what was going on. The dealer did not dare to look at him. No one knew that when he dropped the dice just now, He had already adjusted it to a 2 so that Nicole would land on Nathan's property and have to pay rent. To his surprise, when Nicole revealed the dice, it was a 6, and she successfully skipped Nathan's property. But everyone saw Nicole did not cheat. So Leon had to let Nicole pass through, and she landed on another good piece of property. Oh God, this is going to be a game changer. Sammy was pleasantly surprised that Nicole had landed on a good piece of property so quickly. Nicole looked at the table expressionlessly and reached out to move her piece. There was no apparent emotion on her face, but her gaze at Nathan was surprisingly cold, which was the complete opposite of her impulsive behavior when she agreed to the bet earlier. The dealer retrieved the dice. Nathan thought that he had occupied 2 vantage points, and there was no need to worry too much, so he confidently drew 2 chance cards at random. After checking that the chance cards of the 2 had not been revealed, the dealer first walked to Nathan's side and held out his hand with a white glove to open the cards. All eyes were on the 2 cards as they were slowly revealed. One was a rent hike card, the other a card that slashed the opponent's asset values by 20%, which was simply godsent. Nathan almost jumped for joy. He looked at his chance cards and guffawed. My 2 properties appreciated by 30%. Let's see how you're going to beat me. Sammy's face turned pale upon seeing this result. He had hoped that Nathan would draw some less powerful cards so that Nicole would have a better chance of winning. But now, both cards were in Nathan's favor. Sammy was utterly disappointed. Surprise had faded from the faces of others. They could hardly bear to look at the chance cards that Nicole had drawn. After all, Nathan had drawn 2 good cards, and the odds of all 4 cards in a round being good were tiny. One of Sammy's underlings tried to comfort Nicole. It's okay, boss. We haven't lost yet. The fact that you dare to take up the challenge is an accomplishment. Another guy also said, yeah, boss. It is okay. This is just your first try. Jared raised an eyebrow upon hearing what they said. I didn't know that these guys were so concerned about Nicole. Claus had also seen Nathan's chance cards. He did not bother to say anything but smirked and turned to look at Max, whose expression was still extremely stony. Likewise, Nicole still looked nonchalant as the dealer walked over to reveal her chance cards. Nathan was already going crazy with excitement. He excitedly locked his eyes on Nicole's cards and waited for the dealer to reveal her cards and then announce his victory. But the dealer looked anxious, as he felt Nicole was intimidating. She was sitting there leisurely, but her pair of fearsome, upturned eyes were sending chills up his spine. She looked at ease as if everything was under control. The dealer felt more and more nervous because of her stare. His hand was trembling as he revealed her cards. Meanwhile, Nicole was just looking on nonchalantly as her chance cards were revealed. What is this? This is... Sammy was thinking of giving up at first. But he looked up when he heard those whispers. A look of incredulity spread across his face when he saw Nicole's chance cards. One was a market crash card that would slash property prices in half, which was expected. There would be a bad card issued to the players in each round, but a market crash card that reduced property values by half was the worst of all bad cards. This card had practically wiped out the advantage of Nicole's starting capital, which doubled that of Nathan's. Not only that, but one of Nathan's chance cards would also slash her property values by a further 20%. Considering all this, Nicole really had a bad day today. She was destined to lose. But just when Sammy had lost all hopes, he saw the other card and was utterly shocked. This is an exchange card? Everyone was stunned at hearing that. The dealer almost trembled to see the 2 cards. He took a deep breath and looked at Nicole's cards again. There's nothing wrong with that, 1 bad card, 1 swap card, and there is only 1 such card. I can't be wrong. But I didn't give Nicole that card, it's still in my sleeve and will only be given to Nathan if necessary. But when he checked his sleeve, there was nothing there. Could it be that she swapped the card out when I dealt the cards? But could this even be possible? I'm professionally trained and could leave no trace at all. But the girl could do it so stealthily without me knowing. Her skill is apparently above me. The dealer was completely dumbfounded. He looked at Nicole in fright. The thought of the girl grasping him at the beginning sent a chill up his spine. The dealer calmed down after a moment and said softly, There is no need to continue with this round of Monopoly, this lady won. Nathan looked at the dealer, dumbfounded. What are you talking about? Isn't he the dealer? Why is he speaking for Nicole? Nicole smiled and put down the cards in her hand one by one. When Nathan saw the asset reduction card, he was overjoyed. Look. Like I've said, a yokel like her couldn't possibly beat me. Sammy hissed. Don't get too happy too soon, Nathan. Look at our boss's next card. Nathan hated it, believing that Sammy was bluffing. Do you think I will believe that she has got an exchange card? No way. As long as the dealer is still on my side, he couldn't have possibly dealt her such a card. While Nathan was laughing triumphantly, Nicole revealed her last card. Now he could laugh no more, not expecting Nicole to have the exchange card in her hand. There was silence. Everyone knew Nathan. He played Monopoly and had almost never lost. But today, he screwed up and was beaten at his own game by a rookie female player for the first time. No, I will not lose. Nathan still did not believe it. Sammy said triumphantly, you will undoubtedly lose. Your cards will all belong to our boss. After your asset values are reduced by half, they will further be reduced by 20%. What is left? Nathan's starting token was half of that of Nicole's, and now he had only 10 million left, which was not even enough to buy the next property, which meant he could no longer continue with the game. No, it's impossible. Nathan's face changed dramatically, and he looked at the dealer in surprise. You sold me out. I gave you so much money, yet you dealt her an exchange card. Everyone was stunned upon hearing that. No one expected the reason Nathan could keep on winning was that he had bribed the dealer. The dealer knew he was done for when seeing what unfolded. He removed the gloves and placed them neatly on the tray, then begged the supervisor. I cheated guests for him at table 63. Take me away, I'm taking responsibility for it. As long as he was taken away, Nathan could not look for trouble with him. Where do you think you're going? Nathan wanted to grab the dealer. The supervisor frowned, stopped Nathan, and then said something into the walkie-talkie. After getting a reply, he took the dealer away. Bastard, come back. Give me my money back. But no one gave a damn about him. Everyone who had witnessed the entire episode looked at Nicole in amazement, as if they did not expect things to turn out this way. Nathan realized he had really lost at the hands of a yokel he despised. Jared motioned for Max to clean up the scene. Max immediately stepped forward. You lost, and you said before that if you lost, you would leave San Joto. Now it's time to keep your promise. Sammy and the others were all triumphant as they watched Max instruct the bodyguards to take Nathan away. It's just a game. Who would take a game seriously? Let go of me. Nathan sensed something was wrong and tried to run. Nicole looked on and frowned as Nathan fled. Just when she was about to get up, Claus, who was next to Jared, sprang into action. He lunged out and knocked Nathan to the ground with one punch. Are you trying to evade responsibility? Who the hell made a bet with Miss Riddle just now, eh? You deserve all this. Nathan lay on the ground, clutching his stomach in pain, looking at Claus with resentment. He had never imagined that even the people around this sugar daddy were so badass. Soon the club's personnel arrived and dragged Nathan away, waiting for the Holmes family to redeem him. Mr. Bond then came out smiling. This time, after greeting Jared, he walked over to and looked at Nicole with respect. I'm sorry for what happened, Miss Riddle. Nicole looked at him and said faintly, it's all right, but never let these people who gamble on board games come again. Mr. Bond's smile stiffened. He knew Nicole was warning him that if anyone else came to gamble using board games, his club would be closed down. Knowing that he could not afford to offend Jared and Nicole, he looked at Nicole with respect. You're right. I will never allow such a person to come to our club again. Mr. Bond looked at Jared silently and only breathed a sigh of relief when seeing that Jared did not have an opinion about him. Knowing what he was trying to say, Nicole glanced up at him. But today, Nathan and I made a bet that he would leave San Joto tomorrow if he lost. Now it's up to you to keep an eye on him. Not only Jared but even Claus, who was rubbernecking with his arms crossed, was shocked. The Holmes family might have declined, but they still have a certain influence. It is difficult to kick the Holmes family out of San Joto. Yet Nicole is making such a demand. She is one hell of a ruthless girl. Mr. Bond immediately trained his flattering mouth on Jared. Mr. Johnston. Carrying out that demand would put him on the spot. Jared did not even look at him when he said, "Just follow the super VIP service rules of your club." Mr. Bond's face collapsed, but thinking about the 100 million Jared had spent, he immediately gritted his teeth and said, "Gotcha. I will handle it. Please enjoy yourselves here, Mr. Johnston, Miss Riddle." With that, he could not wait to go backstage and contact the Holmes family. This time, it was Nathan who had messed with Jared's friend. So he had to deal with the Holmes family and kick them out of San Joto. Sammy and others eased up after Mr. Bond left. "Boss, did we really win?" Nicole glanced at a few of them, stood up, and walked over to Jared, then turned back to them and said, "Since you call me boss, I can't watch you being bullied." With that, she said to Jared, "Thank you. The VIP membership here should be very expensive, right? Not to mention super VIP." Jared looked at her glass-like pupils and said dotingly, "Go home." Nicole did not refute it again. She glanced back at Sammy and others and said in a tone that had a rare gentleness in her voice, "It's getting late. Sammy, take them back. Nathan shouldn't have a chance to come looking for trouble with you all again." Sammy and a few others watched her standing with Jared. It seemed that it was this man who came with their boss today, and he really felt that this guy was more than just a cafe owner. He looked at Jared and could not help but respect him, and then he thanked Nicole and Jared. Nicole said no more. She turned and walked toward the outside of the club. Jared threw the car keys in his hand at Claus and glanced at him lackadaisically. "Max is not there. You drive." Claus quickly caught the key and quickly brought the car over. After the two of them got into the car, he started the engine. But because of his excitement, he always reached over and kept asking Nicole about this and that. "Miss Riddle, did you already see that the guy was cheating?" Jared was taking some shut-eye when he heard the question. He looked up at Nicole as if he also wanted to know the answer. Nicole did not shy away from answering it. "Of course I did." "So, how did you beat him?" "It's a secret." Nicole smiled. Claus was disappointed when he did not get the answer. Jared smiled. "Claus." Claus immediately responded, "Yes, Mr. Johnston." Jared looked at him through the rearview mirror with his amorous eyes slightly narrowed. "Keep your mouth shut." Claus saw the forbidding look in his eyes and shut up at once. Silence instantly fell in the cabin. But he was used to a Jared like this, not the boss who was with Nicole sometimes. Claus was deep in thought, wondering why Jared treated Nicole so specially. In other words, he was curious about what exactly attracted Jared to Nicole and made him so obsessed with her. There is more to her than meets the eyes. Since neither of them said where to go, Claus drove back to Jared's usual resting place. Nicole got out of the car and looked at Jared with puzzlement. "We will rest here for the night tonight. I will send you over tomorrow morning." Jared's face remained unchanged. Nicole nodded. Jared lived in a villa near the city, but it was still quiet. She liked the surroundings. Jared led her through the door to the first floor and pointed out the guest room to her. "That's your room. You take a shower first, and I will make something to eat." It had been a long day, and he felt a little hungry.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.